Alright, so the first video here is going to be this one right here by the Lazy Peon, the insane popularity of MMO private servers. I don't think he's covered private servers in quite a while, so to me when I saw this title, I mean the first thing I'm thinking about is Turtle WoW, so hopefully there's a mention of that in there. I think it is, based on some spoilers that have been given, but hey, I think Turtle WoW is mentioned. Let's just see what he has to say. Is there sound on?
In
Yeah,
2025, you won't believe how popular MMO private servers are. Some of these games, despite being technically illegal, have been running for years and have higher player counts than a lot of official MMOs. If you don't know what an MMO private server is, it's basically an unofficial version of a game run by fans or third parties. They exist to either provide a different gameplay experience to the retail version, or as a way to preserve games that no longer exist officially. Basically, every MMO has a private server, but it's rare you'll hear about them as content creators can't stream them on Twitch without breaking terms of service.
I want to challenge that first part, by the way. Can anyone here think of a pretty big MMO that does not have a private server? Because I'm trying to think, like, obviously you have Ashes of Creation that is not even out yet that probably doesn't have one, but like, of the bigger games that are out, is there any that doesn't have one?
Despite the silence, the private server community is massive, thriving, and in some cases feel more alive than the official games themselves. In this video, I'll start by explaining why people play private servers in the first place, before diving into the most popular ones, both for today's biggest...
New World? Oh, we actually might be onto something. Are there no New World private servers? And if so, why?
MMOs and for MMOs that no longer exist. This video was a hell of a rabbit hole to go down and took a lot of time and research to make, so please help us out with a like for the algorithm, and also subscribe for more niche, deep dive MMO content like this. But before we begin, a quick word from today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. If you're new to VPNs, think of Surfshark like digital pants. It keeps the important stuff private when you step onto the internet. As I live in Thailand and I like to travel a lot, I'm constantly bouncing between cafes, airports, and hotel Wi-Fi. Surfshark encrypts all my traffic so snoopers, trackers, and sketchy networks can't peek at what I'm doing. It also lets me virtually travel to 100 plus locations.
Because it's Amazon, they have locked that code down hard, reverse engineering it is pain. But I mean, shouldn't something like WoW be able to do the same thing? Maybe not now, considering it's too late, but like... Retail, there's not that many retail private servers either, are there? Like recent expansions. But Classic Plus, they could code it completely differently and like lock it down. Or even other games as well, like there's so many games that has private servers. Why don't they take the same approach that Amazon has? Games shit, that's why? No, you can't say that. Especially not now.
With 3,200 plus servers, so I can watch region-locked trailers, access gaming news sites, or catch shows that aren't available here. What I like the most is their privacy stance. Surfshark has a strict no-logs policy, so your personal info, online activity, and location aren't collected. On top of that, you get a kill switch and private DNS on every server, so your requests don't leak into plain text. Surfshark also blocks ads and helps guard against malware, making public Wi-Fi far less risky for logins and purchases. And for everyday life, switch locations to compare prices on flights, hotels, or even game subs, and often save money, all whilst watching your favourite shows in private without buffering. And if a game's censored or unavailable where you live, just connect to a region where it's open and play the original version. Surfshark also keeps your whole household protected with one account on unlimited devices and no bandwidth limits, so your PC, phone, console, and TV are all covered. Level up your freedom and security today with Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/lazypeon or use code lazypeon at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Try it completely risk-free with the 30-day money-back guarantee and make your gaming and the rest of your online life safer in minutes. So why play a private server? Why trust some random third-party devs with your time, your characters, and sometimes even your money, rather than just sticking to the official game? After all, MMOs are built around a long-term character progression. You pour hundreds or thousands of hours into building a character that, ideally, you can keep playing for years. Putting all of that into a project that could shut down overnight sounds insane on paper. Yet millions of people do it anyway, and the reasons are actually pretty compelling. Let's start with an obvious one: barrier to entry. Some of the most popular private servers are for games that require a monthly subscription fee, such as WoW and OSRS. Even Final Fantasy XIV has private servers, although they're much smaller in scale. A lot of people just don't want to pay a recurring fee every month, or they live in regions where that cost is disproportionately expensive. And it's not always just about subs. Many official MMOs have bloated cash shops with pay to win, or sometimes even region locks. Private servers often go in the opposite direction, advertising themselves as no shop or no pay to win. So not only are you playing for free, but depending on the server, you might actually be getting a fairer experience too. Next reason, game preservation. When the official servers shut down, private servers are the only way to keep those MMOs alive. And honestly, who can blame players for not wanting their favorite MMOs to just vanish? It's these kind of private servers that I'd consider the least controversial, with some of them even getting legal blessings by the rights holders, like EverQuest's Project 1999, which has a written agreement with Daybreak, or City of Heroes Homecoming, which was officially licensed by NCSoft in 2024. Preservation servers also tend to be the most stable long-term. Warhammer Online Return of Reckoning, for example, has been running for over 10 years without any major issues. The same goes for Star Wars Galaxy's private servers or Nexus Forever for WildStar, projects that have basically become the de facto way to experience those MMOs today. Where things get a bit murkier though, are the alternative experience private servers that run alongside MMOs that are officially still alive. These aren't about preservation, they're about reimagining the game. Sometimes that means rolling back to earlier expansions or a classic version. Other times it means adding entirely new content or experimenting with wild custom rule sets, whether it's classic plus style expansions or completely fresh mechanics. These servers exist to give players something the official version doesn't, and in some cases they become so popular that they attract legal attention.
Hey, Turtle, wow, dude. Wait, no, this is something else. Nostalgia's Rune Wild and the Hero's Journey private EverQuest emulation server. Okay.
Resulting in takedown notices or lawsuits from the rights holders. Other less significant reasons why people might play private servers include a sense of community. Many of these games feel more player-driven with community events and tight-knit groups that make players feel heard in a way that you don't get from a massive faceless corporation. And there's also the protest angle. Back in 2015, a lot of people joined Nostalrius not just for nostalgia, but as a middle finger to Blizzard for refusing to release classic servers. Even today, plenty of people love World of Warcraft but hate Blizzard. And for them, private servers are a way to keep enjoying the game without supporting the company behind it. So those are some of the reasons why people play private servers, but which ones are actually the biggest today? Next, we're going to dive into the most popular private servers in 2025, starting with the juggernaut itself, World of Warcraft. The World of Warcraft private server scene is absolutely insane. In fact, some of these servers have so many players that they'd actually make it onto my yearly most played MMOs list if I included them. Turtle WoW. If you ever needed proof that there's some serious demand for Blizzard to make a true Classic Plus experience, then this is it. Because that's exactly what Turtle WoW is. It's Classic Plus with new zones, dungeons, quests, bosses, raids, and mechanics. It's become so popular that Blizzard have started filing lawsuits against the team.
There we go, dude. That's Turtle WoW, dude. I called it. I called it. WoW runs on Lua, 5M runs on Lua, both basically run the same way. It's not as complicated as people think. Wait, let me see here. The code of the game has calls towards the database, telling you the database table names. So it's all about recreating those and making sure the names of those things called for is there, or the tables that the code tried to import into is there. Yeah, you have experience doing this, don't you? Raids released today on Ambershire? Yesterday, right? I just stuttered like crazy, but yeah, yesterday. I want to see if he has anything to say about Turtle, or if it's just like covering it as a objective thing as a private server. But to be fair, this one is loved by many. It's basically giving, I mean, once again, like he's been saying in the video as well, private servers usually offer something that official servers don't. In this case, people have been asking for Classic Plus for a long, long time, and Blizzard literally refuses to give us anything. And here we go, this is the result of that. Solheim games on a hidden character offline. Me on Turtle? I mean, I'm not saying anything, man.
Before that though, Turtle WoW was reportedly peaking around 44 and 70,000 daily players at one point. For a fan project, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, like Ambershire as well on launch had like, what, 12,000 or 11.7 on one layer. Like, launch day was insane, by the way. For anybody who was there on launch day, you remember how crazy that was.
And those numbers rival mid-sized official MMOs. Another
Let me read this comment. Leveling 1 to 6 in Ambershire was the best experience I've had in WoW since I played original vanilla at school with my friends. There we go. There we go. It's like I've been saying in many of my videos as well, Classic Plus has the chance here to give people a feeling we haven't had in 20 years. And yet, Blizzard just keeps holding that back instead of giving it to us. And sure, right now they might be cooking in some kitchen, but involve us in the process, man. Talk to the community.
Giant in the WoW private server scene is Project Ascension. It's been running almost 10 years and is basically WoW but without fixed class.
I will say, by the way, I've looked at the trailer for this as well, Bronzebeard, right? Or it's called Warcraft Reborn or something right now, but it's basically a Bronzebeard and a Ascension Classic Plus project. To me, this looks very cool, and I really do like the fact that this is way different from Turtle, because if it was the same, it just wouldn't, like... I don't just want to see people do the same thing. Take a chance. Which is exactly what they're doing here. They're doing something wildly different. And to me, that's interesting.
You mix and match abilities to build completely custom characters, with seasonal draft modes adding roguelike randomness. Ascension has stayed popular for years and nowadays seems to be more of a private server ecosystem rather than just a single server, which brings us to Project Epoch. Project Epoch is a Classic Plus WoW project built on Ascension's tech, expanding vanilla with new content whilst keeping the old school feel. It launched in 2025 and the devs reported over 25,000 live connections at launch, but literally as I was writing this video, Blizzard issued a cease and desist to several members of the Epoch team. Whilst the original devs are stepping back, Ascension has stepped in to keep the Epoch realms alive, promising to carry on development with a full roadmap of future content.
I will say, by the way, based on the community reactions that I've seen, it really looks like Ascension is focusing mainly on their Bronzebeard server right now, and the update for Epoch has slowed down a lot. But anybody who's playing Epoch and is way more invested than I am, feel free to confirm or deny. But the player reception right now is like Epoch feels abandoned, and they're focusing on the Bronzebeard. Which, to me, is exactly what I predicted would happen when this happened.
So instead of vanishing, Epoch is evolving under Ascension's umbrella, which is a perfect example of how the WoW private server scene survives Blizzard's constant game of legal whack-a-mole. Warmane's the final WoW private server I want to mention, and it's actually one of the longest running WoW private servers, best known for its Wrath of the Lich King realms with roots going back over a decade. It still pulls in thousands of daily players across all realms, making it the go-to choice for anyone craving Wrath, with options for higher XP rates or even just a Blizz-like experience depending on the realm. The old-school Runescape private server scene has always been massive, but also extremely unstable. In the past year, Jagex have been especially aggressive with takedowns, partially because they had planned to launch their own official community server program, Project Xanaris, which was unfortunately shelved. But during that time, Jagex went super hard on shutting down RSPS, with popular servers like RuneWild and ICOV being forced to close or rebrand. Even so, the scene refuses to die. New servers keep popping up, with a few top contenders being Reason, Allura, August, Impact and Ferox, each drawing in thousands of players daily. So far we've looked at private servers for games that are officially still alive, but let's take a detour to look at a few preservation servers for MMOs that were shut down years ago. Some of these servers have been running for a very long time, and I bet a lot of you aren't aware that they're still playable for free to this day. Warhammer Online officially shut down back in 2013, but the private server Return of Reckoning has been keeping the game alive ever since. It's been running over 10 years now with thousands of active players, and actually has a development team that's still adding brand new content, balance updates and events to.
Yo, I will say this game, by the way, I've never played, but it looks really good. To me, like, if I was going to play anything but WoW, I think it would be Warhammer or Guild Wars. I mean, or Arcade, but that was way back when Arcade was good. Now it's like pay to win, so back when Arcade was good, I could have easily played way more Arcade. I was so hooked on that game, like it was crazy. But if I was going to full time play anything else but WoW, I think Warhammer would be quite far up the list. And the Guild Wars, oh yeah, Final Fantasy, of course. I've played Final Fantasy XIV and had a really fun time playing.
This day. I've actually covered the Return of Reckoning server twice on my channel in the past, and every time I mention it I see nothing but positivity in the comments. Looking at their YouTube channel, they were still pushing new content as recently as a month ago, so
Damn.
maybe check this one out.
So for anybody who's playing this server or Warhammer, is this basically the Turtle WoW for Warhammer? Because I'm seeing they are doing a new dungeon is what I'm seeing here, so like is this Warhammer but with more content? So Warhammer Plus, so Turtle WoW, but Warhammer? Imagine if it was run by the same team, that would be crazy.
Ultima Online is one of the first true MMORPGs and has always had a thriving scene of what the community calls free shards. These are basically private servers that the official developers have generally allowed to exist as long as they don't make money. The biggest free shard today is UO Outlands. Launched in 2018, it has become.
This right here is the same stance I really wish Blizzard had as well, by the way. Just allow private servers to exist as long as they don't make money from it. In that case, we could get so many good private servers, and even like Turtle as well has a pretty, like, I don't like the cash shop on Turtle, and I don't like the bags they have, the portable mailboxes, the summonable auction houses, the summonable bank, all of those things, I don't like them. So simply this mentality right here could give us a better version of Turtle. Just allow private servers to exist as long as they never make profit. That way it's always like a charity, kind of.
Become one of the most popular ways to play Ultima Online in 2025, and I even covered it recently in a first impressions.
Wait, let me see here. Oh no, Outlands makes money, trust that, does it? Does it also have like a donation shop, the same way? Because if so, I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Video. Since then, they've actually revamped the new player experience based on my feedback, which is super cool to see. UO Outlands is free, features tons of custom content and quality of life updates, and regularly pulls in thousands of players. Definitely one I can recommend. EverQuest is one of the most influential MMOs of all time, and thanks to Project 1999, you can still play the original classic version of the game as it was in the early years, up through the Velios expansion. The server has been running since 2009, and unlike most, actually has an official agreement with Daybreak Games, meaning it's fully allowed to exist as long as it stays non-profit. It's completely free to play, has a healthy population of thousands of players, and has become the go-to way to experience classic EverQuest. Star Wars Galaxies is one of the most talked about shut down MMOs, officially closing in 2011, just before the Old Republic launched. To this day, I still hear people gush about how good this game was back in the day, but thanks to private servers, it's never truly been gone. The two biggest private servers are SWG Legends and SWG Restoration. Legends is based on the game's later years after it was redesigned into a more traditional MMO, while Restoration recreates the original sandbox version, where you could build a house, run a business, or become a dancer in Mos Eisley if you wanted to. Both servers are still alive in 2025, free to play and actively maintained. I might be checking out one of these for myself soon, as I never actually played it back in the day. City of Heroes is a superhero MMO that shut down back in 2012, with many fans calling the closure premature since the game was still fairly popular at the time. Players begged NC Soft to bring it back, but nothing happened for years. Private servers eventually emerged to keep the game alive, with Homecoming rising as the most popular. What makes this one stand out is that in 2024, NC Soft officially licensed Homecoming, transforming it from a fan-run underground project into an officially sanctioned way to play City of Heroes. It's still free to play, gets updates and seasonal events, and even added a brand new server shard as recently as this year. Disney's Toontown Online ran from 2003 until it was shut down in 2013.
You're telling me there was a Disney private server? A Disney private server, dude. Damn, alright. I was not expecting that one, I'll tell you that much. I guess there's a private server for just about everything these days, huh? I mean, even Arcade, that I just mentioned as well, they even had a couple of private servers as well. One that was kind of popular at one point, called Arc Rage. I think that one might still be around, not too sure.
But fans recreated it almost immediately, with Toontown rewritten in 2014. Over a decade later, it's still going strong and has become one of the most popular MMO private servers in existence. In 2024, Toontown Rewritten reportedly had over 2 million registered accounts and between 10,000 to 50,000 daily active users, which puts it on par with mid-tier official MMOs. What's especially wild with this one is that it's the only private server I've ever seen that hosts real-world conventions every year called Toonfest, where developers and fans meet up in person to celebrate.
What did it just say? Is this a private server event? Or is that the actual Toonfest event? There's no way there's a private server doing meetups in real life. Huh? Imagine, instead of BlizzCon, we get TurtleCon. That would be insane, dude.
The game. WildStar was an action combat sci-fi MMO that shut down in 2018 after only 4 years online. I'm still sad about WildStar because it was a genuinely fun MMO with a unique combat system and a lot of personality. Despite being a game many MMO fans pine over, there actually isn't a content-complete private server available for this one. The closest thing we have is a project called Nexus Forever, which I've covered on the channel in the past, but it only has a few zones and limited content. Terra on PC shut down back in 2022. It is still playable officially on console, but to play on PC you're going to have to play via a private server. There's a few to choose from, but it seems like the most popular one recently has been Terra Classic, which aims to preserve the original experience without the later years of heavy monetization. As of making this video though, it seems the server was recently hit with a security breach, so it's temporarily offline until systems are updated. There are other Terra private servers, but from the info I found online, they don't seem to be super active. Arcade's official Western servers shut down in 2024, but
Oh, like I said, dude, Arcade. He's talking about Arcade. Yo, by the way, I found Lazy Peon, by the way, through Arcade. It's insane how many content creators I've found through Arcade that I've just like kept following since. I've watched like another dude as well who made Arcade videos, and then I happened to stumble upon Lazy Peon. He's usually like, he's been a big YouTuber for a while, but his Arcade content was peak. I hope he mentions Arc Rage here, but let's just wait and see.
Before that, the private server Arc Rage had already been running as a popular alternative since 2017.
Yeah.
It's free to play, has custom tweaks to cut.
Look at this game, by the way. Like, how can you not think this looks great? This is the best game ever.
Back on pay to win, and still pulls in thousands of players at peak. With the retail game gone, Arc Rage has basically become the go-to way to experience Arcade in 2025. Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean Online shut down back in 2013, but was brought back with a fan-made recreation called The Legends of Pirates Online that's still playable to this day. I've never actually heard of this one until researching this video, so I'm curious to check it out for myself. Raiders was one of the first true action combat MMOs alongside Terra that shut down back in 2015. It's still fully playable to this day with private servers like Raiders Global and Raiders Revolution. I actually covered one of these private servers on the channel back in 2021, and I remember being quite impressed with the game as it was quite ahead of its time. Elion was an action combat steampunk MMO that launched in the West on October 20th, 2021, only to shut down less than 14 months later on December 6th, 2022. Elion died extremely quickly, but you can still play it to this day with the private server iElion, preserving the game for anyone curious to try. Whilst researching this video, I realised the MMO private server rabbit hole goes deeper than I'd ever imagined. In fact, there's entire websites dedicated to ranking private server popularity via voting systems. Other popular MMOs with active private server communities include MapleStory, Lineage 2, Aeon, Habbo Hotel, Metin 2, Night Online, and honestly, too many to even list. But you get the point. Most MMOs, dead or alive, have some kind of private server community, with some of them making big money through donations or their own pay-to-win cash shops. Either way, you should always do your own research and due diligence before ever playing a private server, especially the lesser known servers where the risk of malware or stolen account details are much higher. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video today and learned a bit about the MMO private server scene. I'm sure there's a few I forgot to mention, so if you can think of any other popular ones I missed in this video, then let me know about it in the comments below. This vid took a lot of work to make, so please help us out with a like for the algorithm, and if you're depressed about the state of the MMO genre and need a bit of hope, then click the video on screen to check out every upcoming MMO in 2025 and beyond. Social media on screen, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
There we go. Good video, by the way. Really good video. I liked it. I will say I'm still depressed, and I have already seen the video. I'm still depressed. Kind of sad, man. But I'm depressed because we don't have Classic Plus. I want Classic Plus, and we're not getting it for a while. So I'm just gonna stay depressed, okay? But a good video anyway. And he mentioned Turtle. That's all I kind of personally wanted from the video. And Arc Rage. Turtle and Arc Rage. So I'm happy that I knew of at least 2 of the servers mentioned here, and I guess even though he didn't verbally mention it, there was a picture of Nostalrius as well. So 3 servers that I kind of know about. Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about, Sort? What does this mean? What did he mean by this?